Hello, welcome to another video. So today, as you can tell from the caption and thumbnail, I'm doing a try a chapter challenge for pretty much all of my book box books that I have received so far this year, other than January's. So I've got 7 books in front of me that I'm going to try chapters of. I'm going to read the first chapter of all of them. Here's my stack. A fair few here. If any of them, I'm going to put them down, quite heavy. If any of them have got a prologue, then I'll read the prologue and the first chapter. I feel like a prologue doesn't always give you quite enough to know whether it's going to be a really, really good, meaty book to read. So I'm going to quickly go through what I've got here. My camera battery is flashing, so I'm going to try and do this as quick as I can. So I've got Song of Silver, Flame Like Night by Amelia Wenzel. This was an Illumicrate book from February. I've got The Adventures of Amina al-Sirafi by Shannon Chakraborty. This was the Fairyloot book for February. I've got For Her Consideration by Amy Spalding. This is an Afterlight book from March. Lies We Sing to the Sea by Sarah Underwood. This was a Illumicrate book from March. The Foxglove King by Hannah Witten. This was a adult Fairyloot from March. And then Some Desperate Glory by Emily Tesh. This was the Illumicrate book for April. And finally, In the Lives of Puppets by T.J. Clune. This was the adult Fairyloot book for April. So I'm going to take my stack of books, read a chapter in various locations around my house, and then come back in and talk to you about it. And we'll see what I think of the first chapters of one of these books. Okay, first chapter of The Adventures of Amina al-Sirafi. So let's see what we think of this one. The prologue and first chapter of The Adventures of Amina al-Sirafi. I can never remember the name. This was interesting. It's very high stakes. It's very fast paced. So we start off in the prologue with a sort of, it's not called a prologue. It's like a note on the text, and it's about her biographer. And then chapter 1 is written by Amina, which a couple of times she interrupts herself, where the biographer has sort of said something. I'm not a fan of that writing style. I find it a little bit frustrating, to be honest, when the narrator interrupts themselves or takes themselves out of the story. I'm not a fan. But like I said, high stakes. It was fast paced. Again, like I'm a little bit iffy with books set at sea. I don't always have the best outcome with books set at sea. So I think for me, this is probably, I would probably predict about a 3.5. Yeah, I think I will read it. I am definitely curious enough to read the whole book, but I'm not sure that it would be a new favourite. My next book is Song of Silver, Flame Like Night by Amelia Wenzel. Let's see what you think. So I've read the first chapter of Song of Silver Flame Like Night. This one was interesting. So it has a sort of chronology. I can't think of it. Chronology at the start, which is based just a bit of a history of the world. We follow Lan, who has a scar that only she can see on her wrist, and she's trying to find out what it means. She knows it came from her mother, who was killed by the Alantians, who are the rulers of this world. And so she meets this old guy in like a contraband shop who has got something that he thinks might help her find out what this scar means. I liked it. It sounds like the world is interesting. It sounds like, I'm not entirely sure what the magic system would be yet. A couple bits that I just kind of immediately kind of made me go, so metal is banned in this world, and yet then in the next sentence she mentions she has like a bag of copper coins to pay. Well, if you've banned metal, why would you still have metal coins? Like, is that just me? Does that not make sense? So that took me out of the story, to be honest, because that just doesn't make sense to me. But I think this would be interesting. I think there's enough to make me want to carry on reading. It's giving me vibes of She Who Became the Sun, which I'll be honest, I did DNF. Well, I put it down and I just never picked it back up again. But not because I wasn't enjoying it, I just had other stuff to do. But it's given me those sort of vibes of, I feel like Lan is going to be quite a strong character. I feel like she's going to end up basically being like a kind of saviour type character. Yeah, I think this would probably be 3.5, 4 stars. I think it's strong. I will continue reading. Okay, so I'm going to be reading now The Foxglove King by Hannah Whitten. This is a really awkward angle. You're fairly precariously balanced on a pile of books on the back of the sofa, and I have got a bouncy young girl who doesn't understand let's settle down and not bounce the camera off the back of the sofa. But let's see how I get on with The Foxglove King. Come on. So I finished chapter 1 of The Foxglove King by Hannah Whitten. I really liked it. So we're following Law, who seems to be able to touch something called mortem, which I think is like it seems to be something that kind of brings death forward but also can prolong death. Like, I think it is death maybe. I'm not entirely sure, but it clearly is the magic system. It seems to be a drug. She's living with a couple of people who I think are drug runners or something. Clearly I took in a lot of information. And the landlord came knocking, but Law could tell that he had taken this drug mortem, and so she has now basically blackmailed him into giving them some free rent for the next few months. I liked it. I like the writing style. It seems to be fairly dark already without being like super gritty. I think it's going to be interesting. I think I I think the magic sounds like it's going to be quite an interesting one. I have read the synopsis before because I read the synopsis when I got the book, but I don't remember it now. Just scanning through. Yeah, I think that this does sound really good. I am very interested to continue reading. I would probably say I'd predict this would probably be about a 4-star. So happy with that. Let's move on to the next. The next book I'm reading is The Lies We Sing to the Sea by Sarah Underwood. This one, I'll be honest, I'm very unsure about. I'm not always great. Books set at sea, I don't have a great track record with. And Greek myth retellings, I always think I'm going to love them, but again, I haven't had 100% track record with Greek myth retellings. So, it's The Lies We Sing to the Sea. I believe this is an Odysseus retelling, and it's very, very sparkly and very, very gilded. I will let you know what I think after I've read the first chapter. Chapter of The Lies We Sing to the Sea. So in this one we're following Leto. She has been sentenced to death, and it is her day of execution. I was going to say her death day, but it's the day of her execution. She's being basically made up by, she's got a maid doing like her hair and stuff, and she's going to be executed at midday. I think it was because some scales appeared on her, and I don't know if these are like scales, like fish scales, or like weighing scales. I haven't decided what the scales look like, but and it doesn't sort of give me any more than just the word scales, but that apparently means that she is going to be a sacrifice to Poseidon, so she's going to be killed and thrown in the sea. Obviously she's not going to die, but yeah, she's tried to escape and then been recaptured again. Bracken, get your head out of under my chin. I feel like this would probably be about a 3-star book. Bracken, go away. It was high stakes to start with, but I also feel like I can kind of see where it's gonna go. She's gonna be very much a not like other girls who can save herself. She doesn't need saving, and then is going to fall in love with somebody who's going to save her. I don't know if this is meant to be an adult or a YA, but it feels from just the first sentence, it feels like it's quite YA. But interesting. It's like I said, it wouldn't be one that I would ever have picked up myself if I was going book shopping. I will probably give it a go, but I do feel like this is going to be one that's going to sit on my shelf probably for the next 12 months or so, until I am forced to read it. But yeah, The Lives We Sing to the Sea, my prediction would be about a 3-star, and Bracken is just being a bit of a pain in the background. My next book is the only romance that I'm reading in this video, which is For Her Consideration by Amy Spalding. This is the first Afterlight box that I have received. Yeah, I think so. I think I have bought an Afterlight box before on Vinted, but this is the first one I've probably received. I didn't read the book though because it was a Christmas one and I got it in January. So I'm interested to see my thoughts on this one, because like I said, Afterlight is a new subscription box for me, and I'm interested to see what I think of the books. So let's read the first chapter together. So I've read the prologue in the first chapter for her consideration. So we're following Nina, who in the prologue is meeting her girlfriend, who is looking to break up, and this is a sort of last chance to try and save the relationship, and it doesn't go well, and so they break up. So now we're 3 years down the line in chapter 1. Nina works for a Hollywood sort of talent agent, and she basically writes email responses as if she is the talent, the celebrities, the actors, and she's just got feedback that one of the actors, the only out queer woman on who she works with, is not happy and wants to just meet her. So it sounds quite a stressful situation if I'm honest, but sounds interesting. I enjoyed it. I'm enjoying that it is a queer romance. And again, I'm sure it's not going to take a genius based on the cover art to work out that those two are going to end up together. I think actually it's literally mentioned in, yeah, it's in the synopsis. But yeah, it sounds cute, sounds fun. I don't think it would be a 5-star romance for me. I think it probably would be sitting around about kind of 3.5, 4, depending on how it goes. I'm enjoying the writing style, but it's not blowing me away. I'm not like driven to carry on reading right this second. But that are my thoughts on the first chapter and prologue of For Her Consideration. Okay, so I'm going to read the first chapter of Some Desperate Glory by Emily Tesh. I don't know if you can see that at all here. It's sat here in the window. Let's see how we get on. Okay, I've read the first chapter and a little sort of prologue bit from Some Desperate Glory. I actually really enjoyed this. I didn't think I would. I thought this was going to be... I do like sci-fi, and space opera sci-fi is the kind of sci-fi that I tend to like more than the sci-fi. But I didn't think... Something about the synopsis didn't really appeal to me from this one, but actually I really enjoyed that first chapter. I think I will definitely continue reading this one. Would it be a 5-star book? I don't know, but I think it would be probably a 4-star. I feel like it's one that would go either way. It either would be something that I absolutely love and become obsessed with, or it would be a massive letdown and it ends up being like a sort of 2 or 3-star. But I'm gonna go positive and say it's probably would be kind of 4-star prediction. I really enjoyed it. So we're following Kia. Earth has been destroyed. She is one of the few remaining humans, and she's running a simulation to try and see if she could have stopped the destruction of Earth. There's interesting talk about breeding. So Kia and her twin brother are war breeds. They have been bred to be fighters. And I think that is actually interesting, because I think, yes, it sounds awful, but at the same time, if the planet was destroyed and there were only a handful of people left, you would breed people to make the best, to kind of fit what you need in society. Like it almost makes sense. So yeah, I'm enjoying this, and I think I will actually continue fairly quickly. So that was a good one. Okay, final first chapter is In the Lives of Puppets by T.J. Klune. Let's get going. Okay, I really enjoyed that. Yeah, I've just read the prologue and the first chapter of In the Lives of Puppets, and I loved it. 5-star prediction. To be fair, it was always going to be up there as like a 5-star prediction, because everything else I've read by T.J. Klune I really enjoyed. But I'm really enjoying Nurse Ratched. I think she is hilarious. I'm finding the humour really enjoyable. Yeah, I liked it. I'm looking forward to continuing this one. So I have read the first chapters of 7 books I've received in my book boxes over the last couple of months, and I'm just going to go kind of rank them in order of the ones that I think I'm going to like the most. So we'll start at the bottom. Lies We Sing to the Sea. I think this would be probably a 3-star. I feel like this is one that is going to sit on my shelves for 12 months and I'm not going to get to anytime soon. Next, The Adventures of Amina al-Sirafi. I wasn't the biggest fan of the writing style of this one. The way that she interrupts herself while telling the story kind of gets my nerves a little bit. Yeah, I will probably read this one, but it might just take a while. Then I'm going For Her Consideration by Amy Spalding. It sounds cute, it sounds fun, but yeah, it didn't wow me. It didn't have that kind of pizzazz X factor that wowed me just from that first couple of chapters. Then I'm saying Song of Silver, Flame Like Night. I liked this one. I like the writing style. I am curious to continue, but again, it's probably not going to be one that I am reaching for immediately. Next, the surprise entry, Some Desperate Glory. I did not think that I would enjoy this one as much as I did. So yeah, I'm excited to carry on reading that one. Then The Foxglove King by Hannah Witten. I was expecting good things with this one. This stack is getting quite heavy now. I was expecting good things and good things happened. I enjoyed it. And finally, the top one, In the Lives of Puppets by TJ Klune. Again, I was expecting good things, but I think this is definitely now a 5-star prediction. I will probably look to read this one, possibly not this month because my TBR is already quite busy, but it is very high up to go on in June if I don't finish it off this month. In fact, these top 3 I want to get read in the next month or 2. So, move my arms around here. That is my order of the books in the order that I think I'm going to enjoy them. Also, can we just appreciate the pretty edges? Very pretty, pretty. Gotta say, Illumicrate and Fairyloot have smashed it this year with their edges and their customizations. Incredible, like absolutely beautiful. I'm gonna put those ones down. That's my first chapter challenge on all of my Illumicrate and Fairyloot books. If you have read any of the books that I've mentioned, let me know what your thoughts were, what you think of my predictions, my predicted ratings. Which do you think that my stack, my prediction of what I'm going to like most and least is correct? Are there any that you think I need to prioritise? And if you like this video, please leave me a like, comment down below, subscribe if you would like to, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!